Hello, everyone. Welcome back to PRL Performance Racing League. It has been here. It has been a bit of time since I've been able to join you guys. But I am Hoop BK. Alongside me are a cat and a milkshake from Zaxby's, and we're going to bring you action from Silverstone. Very excited to be back with you guys. It has been kind of a hectic couple of months for me. I think it's been 2 months since I've been able to bring any sort of streaming to the league, but I'm very excited to be back in the chair and watch some of our finest drivers battle it out. And what should be a tricky race today. So we're in Great Britain at Silverstone, and we are expecting a little bit of wet weather in the later stages of the race. Should be a dry qualifying. It should be dry to start the race at least, but we don't know how much rain. Let's see if I can remember how to get everything set up. Here we go. Like I said, it's been a minute. We don't know how much rain. We don't know how intense of rain, but we will see some rain here at Silverstone. We're going to start out by going with our championship leader, Mr. Bean. I haven't tuned in too much to the Sunday, but it sounds like Uno5 did a great job doing comms when he has hosted some streams of this. I haven't been able to check it out, unfortunately, but it sounds like Mr. Bean has been running the field as we are used to. Now that Ramsey is kind of taking a step back. So we'll go on board with Mr. Bean. We're on this historic circuit. One of the fastest turn ones in the sport. Got to get it slowed down. Very slow section here in the arena. Big snap there on exit looked like, but Mr. Bean fast and smooth. A lot of curb there on the inside. And again, just trying to get a feel for the lap here. I personally haven't touched the game in months. Thought about jumping in to race, but I'm a little scared. I don't want to be an absolute menace to others on track. There we go, downshifting to 7th, 6th. We'll take it in 5th through Maggots and Beckett's. Back on the throttle and with the DRS open. Now I'm trying to remember all the corner names here. So Mr. Bean will throw down the first lap time of the session. So he gets through the final slow corners here. It's Club Corner. Back on the throttle and across the line, a 125.8. Joe Bidome, his longtime friend and rival, 126.2. And Gibby's on the mediums, so he'll put down a 132. Balzerga has been a part of this group, it seems like, fighting for top fives. He is in the 127s. Timgra, I'm Goofy, putting down lap times as well. First laps for everyone, so we'll have quite a bit of a spread. He's going to bring it to a stop on track. Hopefully they don't get a penalty for that. Jay Story has been part of this group as well. He's in the 127s. I don't have updated standings for you guys, but I can go through what the standings were before the last round. Good to see Butler back on track. Puts in a lap just to have a time on the board. He's in the McLaren today. And Gibby, who is on the mediums, is a part of this kind of championship group as well. So, who... Uh-oh. So just staying out of the way, perhaps. Have Ghost Viper on a hot lap. Gourd Sauce on mediums puts down perhaps an invalidated lap. It's in the 129s. Oh, we get to Kobe just as he spins through Maggots and Beckett's. Keeps it out of the wall, though. Good job keeping it out of the wall, and will at least survive to put down a lap time. Verzi has been P2. Oh, plays chicken almost, just trying to get a little bit of a slipstream there. Through. Whew. Pulls out the last second, and then I think the dirty air may have affected him through that corner. He's going to finish off a strong lap. 126s, 126.3 is good for third on the board of 9 so far. HTL Llama, who I'm very excited to see in the Sunday tier. In the McLaren is P4. Llama pretty much dominated midweek for a good half season, then disappeared. More laps being put down. Who did I just miss? Maybe it's Tar Heels getting on the board. Watch Spin and Win, who says he has not played this game in a while, and he's finding a lot of curbs on the way around Silverstone. He puts it in the 130s to start, maybe just getting his eye in. Gord Sauce on the mediums. Still has to put together a clean lap. Let's see, that's not going to be a competitive lap. Gibby. Oh, that was the improvement. So he is P5 after getting a good hot lap in on the mediums. So Brian B. not finding any time through 2 sectors so far. Throughout Spin, how's he doing on the second time around? Maybe a little wide there. We'll come back to him. Another invalidation for Gord, who claims he has not practiced all week. So inside 10 minutes left of the session. Llama has found a touch of time through 1 sector. Throws it into the high-speed corner. Just enough grip to get him through. He's in the silver McLaren. Great look. I guess it's a chrome McLaren. Still about even. Not going to see too much of an improvement on the lap, but we'll stick out the lap for him. Let's see what happens here. Never know when you can find a couple of tenths in the sector. And he does find a couple of tenths in the final sector, but still misses out on P3 by just 200ths. Balzurga finding time, or found time, it seems. He is P10. Oh, he did find some time in Sector 1. I did catch him after the Sector 1 line. So he is on for an improvement early in the lap. It's crazy that I am blanking on all the corner names right now. All right, now 3 tenths through 2 sectors. That could bump him into the top 7. He's not shooting to get by Jay Story to get into 7th place. Could he find even more time here in the final sector and challenge Evout for P6? Pretty good line through club. 127.3 is just behind his teammate and in P7. Timger also gets by Jay Story. He's relegated quickly to P8. Gortsas got down a clean lap. He is 12th. And there's a Luna Eclipse, who I believe is a Cyber Celine in the Discord, putting down their first lap of the session in the Alpine. See if I can find the standings real quick. Make sure there's no improvements here at the top. Let's see how the Alpine does on their first lap. Big spread so far. And that'll put them actually right at the top half. That's P9. 127.4. So it's pretty tight in the 127s. Oh, Wout finds the wall. What an interesting place that he just hit the inside wall. Okay. Fairzy does not quite find improvement, just about a tenth slower. Looks like Luna might be pushing still. Oh, Brian B in the white Williams. Is Ghost Viper also in the white Williams? I say white, but the lighter colored Williams. And Brian invalidates, unfortunately. Okay, so kind of quiet so far here, and we might be getting to that lull where everyone's about to get set up for their final push, their final hot laps. Should be the case for Joe and Fairzy, who's down half a second through one sector. Oh, he's coming into the pit lane. Okay, so maybe it was an in lap. Now we're getting to this lull. So about trying again after finding the wall. Finding a little bit of time, but a little bit of time is all he needs to get by Gibby for P5. I think it was a tenth and a half through two sectors, so threatening to break into the 126s. Big gap between fourth and fifth on the timing sheet right now. About kind of loses out there in the final sector and actually does not improve. So a bit too much curb at club leaves him in P6 with 4 minutes left in the session. Llama on a flyer. He's up a tenth already through sector 1. We'll keep an eye on him. Come back to him in a second. We'll go back through. Anyone else on track? Butler finding some time. Has lost that time. In the second sector, unfortunately. Spinanwin finding a ton of time as well. He's just behind Llama on track. Tar Heels invalidated. Gotta remember to enjoy this milkshake during the qualifying session as well. My partner here in the booth. Let's see, where's Llama going to end up after a strong lap? He's P2 and not by much. Finds nearly half a second. He's just a tenth down on Mr. Bean. So on the front row goes the McLaren. Spin and win. Also finds 2 seconds puts him in P13. Mr. Bean retaliating and responding quickly by finding some time in Sector 1. He's really the only one on a hot lap right now, yeah? Some drivers coming out of the pits, but Mr. Bean really the only one pushing. Yeah, so Llama got close, but Mr. Bean's about to pull away if he has a solid third sector. Already 3/10 up. Let's see. Ooh, let's see. Can he break it to the 125.4s? No, 125.589. So lost out on a little bit of time in the final sector, but increases his lead. Llama is going to try to respond here on the used softs. He needs to find 4/10. Don't count out Joe or Furzy. The other contenders just even within a second of Mr. Bean right now. Now everybody out on track. That's a busy track map there in the bottom right hand of your screen. Let's see, Llama. Can he find time? No, down a 10th. Joe finding a little bit of... No, actually just started the lap. Disregard. Got the permanent yellow flag, so can't see how much time is left in the session, but it's got to be pretty low. Joe finding a little bit of time through Sector 1, but not near enough. A lot of cars pretty even with their fastest times through one sector. And now a bunch of cars crossing the line to get their lap started. Gord crossing the line to finish a lap, breaks into the 127s and P7. So much more representative lap from Gord Sauce. Hopping around a little bit. Mr. Bean. Oh, wow, what happened there? Llama, I guess, aborted the lap. Got to some funky stuff as we run out of time on the session. So Llama will not be the one on pole. Mr. Bean has thrown down his final lap of the session, and Joe Bidom, unless there's a miracle in Sector 3, yeah, finds some time, but is P3. Furzy, pretty even through two sectors. I feel like a lot of these guys have really maxed out their times, had really good runs early, and just are struggling to find time late, and he gives up on the lap. So Furzy will be no higher than P4. Can Gibby find enough time? Still an 8/10 margin between Gibby in 5th and Furzy in 4th. That is a lot of time to try to find. Can he break? He gets that and plenty more. 1.1 seconds of improvement. Finds himself in P3. So Gibby finding a ton of time here on his final run. Ghost Viper found a good amount of time. He's up to P8. Gord now down to P11 after everyone else gets their final runs in. How's Butler doing? I believe Butler in Tar Heels. Butler brings it around. Finds a bit of time, but we're made P15. Tar Heels says, screw this, we're done. There's your 18 car field for the British Grand Prix. And a familiar sight, Mr. Bean at the top of the leaderboard. HTL Llama and Gibby and Joe and Furzy all right there as well. So no major surprises, I don't think. As you wait for the ghosts to circulate around the track, this is always something. Here we go. So Mr. Bean takes pole by 3.5 seconds over HTL Llama. Gibby, a good lap at the end, moves him to third. He will start alongside Joe Bidome. Furzy and J Story will be on the third row. Brian B. in Avout, 7th and 8th. Ghost Viper is 9th, and he starts next to Timgra to round out the top 10. Gourd Sauce falls to 11th late. Balzurga is 12th. Luna Eclipse is 13th. Spin and Win is 14th. Butler will start 15th. I'm Goofy will start 16th. And his fellow Ferrari, Kobe, will start 17th. And Tar Heels will round out the field and start 18th from the grid. So as we load in, you can see some dark clouds here in the sky. Seems to be a common thing in Britain, but the unupdated standings has Mr. Bean in first by 42 points over Furzy. Just a 5-point gap to Gibby in third. 9 more to Joe in fourth. Balzurga is in fifth, a bit further behind. So some good battles throughout the standing sheet, but not quite updated. I know Mr. Bean won again in the previous race in Japan. Was that last week? Was that before the break? I can't even keep up with it anymore. Okay, so that was last week, was the return. Yeah, Mr. Bean has won 5 of the last 6. He's been on the podium 6 straight times. So he has hit his stride in the field, struggling to keep up generally. The one he didn't win, Joe won. That was Brazil. Round, I believe that's round 6. That may have actually been the last one that was streamed. So, yeah, since then, Mr. Bean has won 3 straight. Furzy and Gibby regularly on the podium. Gord and Ramsey when he is on. Also fight for podiums. Trying to catch up with all the happenings here. I don't have any bold predictions or anything. Haven't figured out who the sleepers are, really. Let's see. Weather report. Yep, so qualifying was clear and dry. Race is overcast, dry, and light rain. So light rain expected in the back third of this the 26 laps. Let's see if it's enough to throw off the driver's strategy, if they'll need to pivot to inters, or if it's just going to be a struggling to keep the car on track on the slick tires. About 2 minutes from go time, apparently. So you got about 2 minutes to run, grab a drink, grab a snack, grab your cat. I'm sure it's going to be a fascinating start that you won't want to miss. So. Anyone get anything super exciting for Christmas? Got a couple of half decent things, but using these headphones I got for Christmas. A lot nicer than my previous ones. Also like noise canceling, so really I can't hear anything when I'm talking. All right. So we'll get the formation lap underway. Mediums and hards. So yeah, not surprising there. Just going for the one stop. And I think the hard runners trying to see if they could get to the rain. Medium runners trying to gain time and positions early on. See if I can get my timing sheet to work again. There you go. So actually the game recommends a 2-stop or even worse, a 3-stop, and I don't think that's going to be the case. Be a 1-stop, but if the mediums are coming apart, and I don't expect they are with the cooler temps and the overcast conditions, then maybe you could see a 2-stop, but I highly doubt it. Highly, highly doubt it. But also, I haven't touched the game in... I don't think I've driven on the game in 3 or 4 months, so... Cannot bring that driver insight that perhaps I did previously. Be nice to get back in a race. Who knows? Maybe I'll race this Wednesday. Either that or comms. If you haven't checked out our midweek action, you should do so. Split into 2 tiers now. Very, very competitive in Tier 1. And a great mix in Tier 2. But here for Sunday, 18 drivers about to get going here at Silverstone. Waiting on the lights. 2, 3, 4, 5. Red lights are out, and we are underway from Silverstone. Maybe trying to hold off Joe in the back, but we're going to stick here with the lead. We'll bring out some of our bits again. And we can piece together what happened in the rest of the pack after lap number 1. It's like, this is going to be a hell of a battle for the next 25 laps between these 2 drivers, because really they are each other's closest matches on track, and I've wanted to see this kind of battle really since Llama just took over midweek last season. All right, so movers. Timdra must have gone around. He's down 7 spots. Spin is down 2. Brian gets by J-Story in that battle for the lead that we saw that pass right off the gate, really. Uh-oh. I'm Goofy struggling through the slow speed. He drops a couple spots, picks up a penalty. And we get a move. Joe Bidom, DRS overtake on Gibby for P3. And Furzy, tried to get there, is next to Gibby. Had P5 for a moment. They're nearly side by side into Cops. It's going to be a bad line for the Sauber, but he will hold on. Gibby loses one, but that is it. Will remain P4. Kobe plays actually up 4, but I think he got 3 seconds for a corner cut, so we'll keep an eye on that as well. Potential move back here. J-Story and About. About are on the outside. Going to run wide and probably gets track limits there. Now has the inside through the first heavy braking zone. Still side by side into Club. Difficult to go here, and it's probably slowing both of them down. J-Story holds on to the position, though, as we start lap number 3. I say that, and About gets by with the much better exit and takes P7. So, battle here, but it has cost them quite a bit of time. They're now 2 seconds behind P6. So we move further up the field. Joe already separating himself from Gibby, who is having to defend fiercely against Verzi once again. Bears it to the inside, but decides against it. J-Story holds 8th. He's now, the big accordion of cars right behind him. That's Ghost Viper, Gordsauce, Valzerga, Kobe, and Luna holding on there as well. So a bit of a train here. J-Story falling away from About pretty quickly, actually. And into the clutches of this train. Gord, better exit out of Cops than Ghost Viper, and he takes the position up to P9. He was P7 after his final run in qualifying, but once the others finished their laps, had fallen down to 11th, so Gord trying to get his way back through the field, make up some points. A move, Gibby on Ferzi. Still side by side, these two battling a lot, and a big snap on the brakes from Gibby. He's going to lose one spot, and he may lose another. Can Brian get to the outside? Not quite. This is going to slow him up, and Gibby's going to lose a ton of time. Fall right into the clutches here of Brian and About. We lost Goofy, who retires in the pit lane. Oh, good exit there by the Williams as Brian. A great exit. He's not going to get DRS, though. Gibby trying to hold off against the Vault. To go on board here. Just not quite enough traction, but he's going to get to the inside here. And this little kink as we head down towards Cops, and About will take P6, so not a great couple of laps here for Gibby. Started 3rd, down to 7th. And is under threat already. Mr. Bean, we'll go back yet with him. He's still P2. These two pulled away from Joe by about 3 seconds. Spin gets by Luna. Uh-oh. So does Timgra. Luna running wide. And I don't know what's going on here, but this is a mess through Club Corner. It's Ghost Viper, Balzerga, and Kobe. It's also movement position-wise. We'll go back to the tires here. Let's hop back up to Gibby trying to hold off J-Story for P7. Taking with DRS, J-Story does not quite get there. Gordsauce nearby as well. Balzerga and Kobe in close proximity. Kobe kind of backs out here, though, into Cops. I think he gets a much better run, though. Balzerga really understeered. A bit too much curve, and that's going to cost him on exit. Gord gets by J-Story with DRS. He moves up to P8. And next is the suddenly sinking Gibby. He hits the pit lane. Gibby 5 laps on the mediums. We've got our first pit of the afternoon. Luna also in the pit lane. Luna retires. I think Gibby is sticking it out. I think he's just trying to get onto the hards. Yeah, interesting. So, still a close battle up here at the front. No moves have been made yet. So Gibby really just trying to undercut the hell out of the field. But I guess he's banking on everyone else making a pit stop not onto wet tires. There you go. So Brian moves up into P5, about just behind him. Is it about to revote? Oh, a bit of a wobble there, and he's going to lose the position. So the Haas will get by. Gord holding off J-Story. Oh, wow. Kobe and Balzerga still going at it side by side. Heavy braking zone. Not too many lines here through Club Corner. So Kobe out in front takes P10 on track. Puts Balzerga in danger from spin and win, who's just inside of a second now. It's one to watch, and we do get our first move for the lead. Llama gets back by, though. Side by side into, is that Brooklands? Oh, we almost had a carbon copy of Hamilton on Verstappen into Copse. But Mr. Bean backs out just in time, and the battle continues. Still in the early stages of this race, lap 7 of 26. So I'm going to say that Mr. Bean, late braking and a late brake there into the back of the McLaren. Mr. Bean around the outside, but now he has damage to that front wing. They are, oh my goodness, very, very close proximity. He's still trying to throw this car around, and Mr. Bean in the Mercedes regains the lead for the time being. But at what cost? You see he's missing an end plate, and I think there's additional wing damage. Maybe it's just the end plate you saw there. Llama will have DRS. But will not make the move. So Mr. Bean going very, very aggressive. Over brakes himself into, that's not Club. Whatever's just before Club, right? Vale? Or is Vale the straight? Oh, hell if I know. Furzy has gotten back towards Joe. He got a couple of tenths on him last lap. Just on the fringes of DRS here. Let's go back to Llama, who had DRS, got right to the rear of Mr. Bean, but does not make the move. A vote pulling away. I think it might actually be a vote. Oh, man. Pulling away for Brian. He's pretty handily, safely in P5. 2 seconds back to Brian. 2 seconds back to Gord, who's still holding J Story at bay as he starts lap number 9. And then a big string of cars here. Kobe, Ghost Viper, Balzerga, Spin and Win. Oh, Butler too fast entering the pit lane. So he's making his stop after 8 laps. Checking in on Gibby real quick, who was the fastest driver on track last lap, 129.9. Everyone else is in the 132s. Well, Joe is in the 131s. There's a lot of 131s, actually. But it's a lot of 131s, 132s. I think that undercut could work out for Gibby. It's just a matter of how will the weather play into this. Three-tenths and gaining very quickly. Mr. Bean holding the middle of the track. Let's see, it could be a late break here. Not quite. Still a long way to go. See how Mr. Bean nurses the damage to the front of his car as well. Spin and Win finally gets by Balzerga. He had been hunting him for a while, but then immediately picks up a 3-second penalty for going over track limits. Brian and Gord into the pit lane. 9 laps on the mediums. They're going to move to the hards. Let's see where they come out. See where they come out in relation to Gibby. It'll be behind. I wonder how close Brian will be to Gibby. And it's a very long pit lane here, so he'll be already passing the pair. See if there's any action into cops. No. There you go. So Brian settles in about 4 seconds behind Gibby. Gordsauce 2.5 behind Brian. They're now on fresh, hard tires, which could get them to the end or at least to another pit stop, depending on the weather. I've had quite a few races here at Silverstone, at least in my history with PRL, where rain has come into effect either authentically, genuinely, or through like an established wet weather race. Say that 5 times fast. Furzy in the pit lane. So the Aston Martin in a vote also. The Haas. Now Furzy is already on the hard tire. He's going back to the hard tire. So he is banking on wet weather. Yeah? You could do hard intermediate. That is legal, right? A vote onto the hards as well. So interesting call from Furzy. And I feel dumb that I don't really know the rule. Can you go hard, and then like an intermediate? Or would you have to go hard, medium? Balzerga also in the pit lane. He is just now leaving. Seems like he lost out by quite a bit. 3.5. Ooh. Actually, a lot more time. 9.5 seconds behind Gordsauce. Perhaps some damage that he had to repair? Coming back through the field, Mr. Bean holding off Llama, but they're headed back down the hangar straight. Joe actually reeling them in just 1.5 seconds back, clearly in the picture. Let's see, I was going to say Llama probably hitting the pit lane as he is on the medium tire. Down to a very slow, what is it, like 35 miles per hour? 50 kilometers an hour? Super slow pit lane here. J Story comes in. Kobe comes in. He's on the mediums. Yeah, Joe really reeling them in. So he was 3/4 of a second faster than Mr. Bean last time around. Some penalties coming through. Here we go. So Llama comes out in front of Furzy. There's Gibby. And so we have a lot of cars here in this one section of track. Avote and Brian. Once more reunited. Gord Sauce. Jay Story a bit further back. He's on the medium tire, though. Let's go up to Spin and Win, who's dealing with a penalty, but also is just half a second behind Ghost Viper. This was a battle in the midfield before pit stop started. Llama already getting by Timgra, who's on 11 lap-old mediums. He and Tar Heels are the only ones on those mediums from the beginning of the race. Spinning will have DRS. So the Sauber to the outside with Ghost Viper going defensive, and will make the move pretty cleanly. Not too much of a battle there. And Ghost Viper says, that's it. Going to the pit lane. Yeah, now I'm wondering if Mr. Bean and Joe are going to try and run these tires until potential rainfall. But they're the Hearts, so you can get them into the back half of the race anyway. Take the mediums to the end. We've got a yellow, and Butler is out. He has crashed out. Is that going to bring out a full course safety car? It is. Good news for Tar Heels, who will hit the pit lane. Bad news for Timgra, who had just come out of the pit lane. And some interesting decisions to be made here for Mr. Bean, Joe, and Spin and Win. It's a free pit stop for Mr. Bean and Joe. I think you take the mediums. So what is that? Stowe at the end of the Hanger Straight? And Butler having an issue there and finding the wall, DNFing, our third DNF of the race. We're down to 15 drivers of the 18 that took the grid. Yeah, pretty easy decision here for those top two to enter the pit lane with a free pit stop to move on to medium tires. Spin and Win also into the pit lane. He'll take his pit stop. It'll be a little tougher for him time-wise, but I still think he wins out. We'll see where he comes out. I believe he was in the battle for the top 10 before pit stop started. Llama just gets by Mr. Bean. Wow. That was very close at the pit line, at the pit exit line. So Llama, on still pretty fresh hards, will be ahead of Mr. Bean on the brand spanking new mediums. A couple drivers in the top 10 pitting. So Spin and Win actually comes out 8th with fresh mediums. Gibby into the pit lane to put on fresh mediums. And he comes out, let's see where the game decides to put him. I think it was P11. Yeah, P11. J Story, 10-second penalty for speeding into the pit lane, I saw. And Balzerga also in the pit lane. So with the safety car, a big mix-up here in the field. And remember, rain still might be coming. There we go. So the penalties that are still outstanding, Spin and Win and Kobe each have 3 seconds. Spin for track limits and Kobe for corner cutting. And J Story, 10 seconds for speeding in the pit lane. Still outstanding. Officially in the back half of the race, but we are under safety car. And still waiting on the possibility of rain. That should hit in the back third of this race. So quick math, still 4 or 5 laps till we're on the lookout for that. Butler says the controller cut out. And the car did not ghost or slow down. So a big shunt there that we missed at Stowe Corner. And a DNF for the McLaren driver. And I'm Goofy. I believe that's Miss Tens in the Discord says he was driving the 2014 Ferrari car, understeer and oversteer at the same time. So, tough drive for him. He will finish 18th. And a tough one for Butler. Had some mechanical issues. He'll finish 16th. I just see an overtake. They're just some cars still getting by each other, giving the position back. Just waiting on Tar Heels to reach the rear of the field. It might be another lap before we go green. Yeah, I just called that one out, Will. That's a rough one. Schumacher, 1999 there. Yeah. I imagine that was a hell of a hit. One time I was racing with a small group. Tar Heels actually hits the pit lane. He's going to put on mediums now. So now it should be the final lap under safety car. I was playing with friends, or a small group of PRL guys actually, and at Japan. And I was having issues with my monitor cutting off. And down the front straight at Japan. And suddenly, monitor's gone. It's black. And it comes back up, and I am already into turn 1 at maximum speed. It's like, well, this is going to hurt. Take my hands off the wheel as the car smashes into the wall at 180 miles per hour. Here we go. We get the message. So the safety car will be in. Good move for Tar Heels, actually, getting onto the fresh tires. No loss of time or position. Joe Bidome is actually going to lead the field back to green on his fresh mediums. He got by HTL Llama, and with a great push at the end of that stint, actually, just before the safety car came out. Great pushing there to get Joe Bidome at the front of the field. He will lead the McLaren and the Mercedes of Mr. Bean through Vale and through Club Corner and back to green flag conditions. 10 laps to go here at Silverstone. Lamas already over the back of that Red Bull. So we wind through turns 1 and 2. Sticks his nose in, and very late move, but the McLaren gets there eventually. He's going to lose a spot. Mr. Bean to the inside. They are actually side by side as they head towards the Wellington Straight. Llama just ahead, will take the position. Mr. Bean, just a scrap here in the top three. Joe running a bit wide. Llama trying to take advantage of this, getting to the outside, but he's going to lose a bit of time. Better traction on exit will hold off Mr. Bean. A quarter of a second between the top three. Is anyone going to try to go side by side into Copse? Not quite. And the top three will hold as we head into Maggots and Beckett's. Very aggressive move from Llama into that first heavy braking zone in the lap, turn 3. Did not end up working out for him, but he did hold on to second. Thought Mr. Bean was going to have a chance to jump on that mistake. Does Mr. Bean have a fixed wing? Meant to look. Yes, so that is perhaps what cost him all of that time in the pit lane and cost him the position to HCL Llama on track. But he does have that fresh wing. How's Llama's wing looking after that move? Looks fully intact. Ferzy is 4th. Evote is P5. Brian is 6th. Gordsaw 7th. Spin and Win and Kobe are 8th and 9th, dealing with penalties. Gibby is up to 10th. But he really lost out trying to undercut with that early pit stop. And then the safety car, allowing everyone pretty much a free stop on him. It says caution in Sector 3, but there's nothing going on there. Back to the top 3. Mr. Bean all over the rear of that McLaren. Let's see, half a second back. Llama will also have DRS, so no real chance here. Mr. Bean turning in very early, I'm noticing, into Stowe. Late braking there, down to 3rd gear. But that gives him a bit more traction through the back end of Club. Joe puts down the fastest lap of the race, so 1:28.9. It still says caution Sector 3. What the hell? Hey, yeah, Spin mentioned he was just happy to get close to a podium position for a bit. So he's holding on pretty steady. Not a great qualifying, but defending from Kobe here. P8 on track. That penalty will come into play, I'm sure. Unless the field really spreads out in the next couple of laps. His teammate for the day? Oh, yeah, let me see. Let me see if I have you, Will. I am on PlayStation. Are you on PlayStation? I'm going to go back to the front here. Let's see. 1 second on that. Get back to the race for a moment as we have a move there. Llama gets to the inside of Joe, and we are really scrapping here. Lap 20 of 26. A little touch to the rear. Joe's going to run wide. It's going to give Llama another chance around the outside here, and Mr. Bean is all over this. Once again, Llama trying to get to the outside to like kind of switch back on Joe, and Mr. Bean gets to the inside of him, but no moves can stick. Some overspeed, it gets to the inside, and yeah, was going to run out of room there. Gets his nose chopped. Mr. Bean trying to make a move on Llama through Maggots and Beckett's, and I just don't think that was ever going to work. It's going to cost him some time here, but not as much time as you might think. A great save. I'm sure the tires are going to be hurting after that. As the laps continue to tick away, lap 21. Not sure if there's any moisture on track yet. I don't visually see any rain. Furzy still holding off about for a vote. And Brian for P6. Spin and Win actually up to P7. Oh, I missed something. So Ghost Viper entered the pit lane. Takes new tires. Perhaps some damage there as Kobe gets by Spin and Win with a DRS overtake. Not quite as close these three this time around, so... Ooh, big slide there for the Mercedes we see through Copse. Cost them a bit of time, and yeah, that very bold move on Llama did not work out. As Gibby passes his teammate of the day, Spin and Win for P8. Late move to the outside. So actually Llama went defensive, then moved to the outside super late to get the better line, and Joe will get back around him to take the lead. And then Llama tried to make another late move to the outside into the heavy braking of Club and did not get there. So still an intense battle here at the front. I think we'll have to stick with this for the rest of the race. I'm sure some great battles going on through the field, but anything can happen between these three. As we've seen already, I don't want to miss anything. Joe, heavy defensive, Llama to the outside, and we'll get there. Joe going deep as he does into that corner, and we're going to have another replay of Brooklyn's every lap of this back stint. Mr. Bean just too far away to be involved this time. So Llama went around the outside. Joe braked way too late. And Llama takes the lead once more. He's on the hard tires, 10-lap old hards. And Joe loses it. Oh, into Beckett's just before the hanger straight, and that's going to cost him everything. Dirty tires. He's going to be P8 when it's all said and done. P8 on track after battling for the lead. Let's see if he can make up any spots. About and Furzy. Furzy actually into the pit lane because he has to take new tires. He went hard to hard. So massive error there, just did not work out. Yeah, I was about to say I was just about to call out that those mediums were no longer the best tire compared to the hards because they were 8-9 laps old, and Joe immediately lost the car as we went to him. So the medium's just starting to hit that wall, just starting to wear out. And let's see if Mr. Bean can still use just enough of this compound to get by Llama. Kobe to the inside of Brian. That's now P4 on track with all of these moves. With Furzy in the pit lane, Joe tumbling down the order with the spin. That's a vote in P3 by himself. Kobe P4 on track, still dealing with a penalty and holding up this train of cars behind. Lap 23 of 26. Kobe up to P4 from P17 on the grid. He still has the time penalty, and it may be more than one. It might be 6 seconds. I'll have to take a look at that in a moment. Was that a lock, or was that water I saw under braking? I'm not seeing... is there rain? There might be a little bit of rain falling now. Lap 24. Spin and Win retires from the session. The good old Spin and Win special. Takes it to the pit lane with 3 laps to go. And he will finish P15. So I swear maybe just a couple of drops of rain here, and it's getting really tricky in the final 3 laps of this race. Who can keep the car on the track? Let's see. We'll actually check. Yeah, so it's a 6-second time penalty, which would drop him to 8th, I believe, for Kobe. So still awesome effort on track to be P4, but those mistakes are going to cost him on the timing sheet. So a little bit of rainfall here in the very late stages of this race. So too late to make a decision to go onto inters or something like that. You just have to keep the car on the track and stay ahead of somebody else. As Llama starts the penultimate lap. Mr. Bean still within a second. I believe DRS is still online. Oh, we lost Gourd Sauce. I believe he retires in the pit lane. So a number of retirements now here in the late stages. Gourd will finish 14th. I think he had just picked up a penalty. And Kobe still holding off this train of cars for P4 on track, but Brian would inherit that spot on the timing sheet if all stays how it is. You can see Mr. Bean really trying to push on those 11-lap-old mediums. They just don't have anything left in them, and especially now in the wet. It'd be super easy to make a mistake. He's within 8/10. DRS, that flap's still open. He has one more lap to try to make a move here on Llama. A good one, and to make it stick. Oh, another puff of, it could be mist, it could be smoke from the rear of Llama under braking as he starts the final lap of this race. See, now it's less fighting with the other drivers, and it's more fighting for survival. Just one more lap around the Silverstone circuit. HTL Llama. I don't know is this his return? Did he race last week? Quite possibly the return. A battle of the for the ages. Battle between heavyweights of Llama and Mr. Bean. And I think it was just as good as advertised. These two went at it for 26 laps. Joe Bidome, also a great effort to be involved in all of this. A great battle between the three of them. But Llama takes his McLaren into Maggots and Beckett's. About a second clear of the Mercedes in a very slick Silverstone. Mr. Bean got the best of him in qualifying, but just a fantastic start from the McLaren. Put him out front early, and a lot of different things happening through the race to shuffle that. But HTL Llama, welcome back to Performance Racing League, and welcome back to the top step of the podium at Silverstone. The McLaren driver brings it home. Mr. Bean, just a really good effort all around. One of the best in the biz is P2. And a vote after a bunch of different things happening to some other front runners, kept it clean, kept it on track, and will bring it home. P3, the Haas driver, on the podium. We'll go through the rest of the order in a moment. That'll be your top three. Never rained, huh? See, we thought that there was some sprinkle at least. I guess light rain just means really, really light rain. Oh boy, I'm stuck communicating. Are we ever going to get the results now? The black screen of death from EA. Uh-oh. Here we go. So Llama, race winner. Furzy gets fastest lap. Driver of the day goes to Kobe. I think I would agree. Most overtakes goes to Timgra, and the cleanest driver goes to a vote. Our final results. Llama, Mr. Bean, and a vote on the podium. Brian B, good effort to P4. Timgra, sneaky P5. Kobe, even with the penalties, 17th to 6th. Joe Bidome, 7th after an incident. Gibby, 8th after strategy mishap. Balzerga, 9th. Furzy, 10th. J Story, 11th. 12th is Yost Viper. Tar Heels, Gord Sauce. And then Spin and Win, Butler, Luna Eclipse, and I'm Goofy. Yeah, Furzy also with, I guess, a bit of a strategic mishap. What a race. Thanks for putting on such a good show for me. My first time back behind the mic in, I think, like 2 months. Very entertaining stuff here from the Sunday tier. Hopefully I get to do this a little more often on Sundays and maybe the occasional Wednesday as well. Thank you for tuning in. This has been Performance Racing League, PRL. I've been Hoop BK. You can find more on our YouTube channel, which should be in the little channel thing on Twitch. And if you want to join our Discord, the link should be there as well. Until next time, goodbye.